This is our lesson on the cultural relativism, anthropology. This is a concept that comes up in GCSE sociology. Cultural relativism. It means you can only understand someone's behaviour by understanding their culture. So you might go somewhere and people are behaving in a certain way and you find odd or even crazy. It's perfectly understandable once you understand their culture, their values and norms. You go to alien culture, you immerse yourself in it, enjoy it for several years usually, hopefully, and then you can understand their culture, their values, their norms, how they socialise their children. Once you know that, some of these behaviour, which at first seem odd to you, then seems extremely normal. You understand it is normal within their culture. Cultural relativism. So what does that mean in practice? Let's go through it. So what is anthropology? Anthropology is a study of culture very different to your own. Anthropology is normally done by Westerners, Europeans, Americans, going to places like Africa, Pacific Islands, a completely isolated, small culture that is entirely, wildly different to our own. So an anthropologist will ask a question like, I wonder why these people are wearing baskets on their heads. There must be a reason. They must have a reason. I wonder what it is. So what you do, an anthropologist goes and lives with this group of people. He learns their language, they immerse themselves in their culture, and finds out why they do the things that they do in the way they do them. Normally, you spend a couple of years with them to figure all this out. So, what's the point? There are several points. One, always good to understand different cultures. Always a good idea. Understand their culture, then life makes much more sense. You can get on with them, you can communicate with them if you understand their culture. And from an intellectual and academic point of view, a sociology point of view, this is proof that human behaviour is cultural, it's not genetic. By going around the world and seeing thousands of separate cultures all behaving in very different ways, that proves that behaviour is learned, not born. Right now, the most famous anthropologist, a woman called Margaret Mead. Here she is, 50-year career, real big deal within anthropology. So famous, she's got books written about it. Not just she wrote books, she's one of the great minds of science. Long career, loads of studies in the Guinea, Africa, all sorts of places. And she made her name in the very first book of the 20s, for a book called Coming of Age in Samoa. Here's Margaret in Samoa. Samoa is a set of small islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Near Papua New Guinea, near Australia, there's Samoa. In the 1920s, Margaret Mead was sent there as a young researcher to the Samoan Islands. And this is her research, very first research. She lived with the local white family on the island. She spent 5 months there. She took 25 local girls as her sample. They were aged 14 to 20. She asked them loads of questions about what it's like to be a teenage girl, what are the rules, what's the culture on Samoa. And she covered various things. One, there was a very long, extended family, all together in one large house or hut, no rooms. So the girls have been aware of sex from a very young age. They've seen their adult relatives having sex quite openly. There seems to be no sense of shame for sexual act into life. The girls seem to begin to masturbate, have sexual activity themselves between the age of 7 and 8. The girls, once they're teenagers, are very promiscuous. They can have lots of sexual partners. And this is in no way abnormal. The word slut doesn't exist in their language or their culture. And homosexuality between the girls is quite normal until they are married. So this book was a sensation when it came out because it's got a lot of sex in it and really made Margaret Mead very famous and set her up for a huge career over the next 50 years. However, her work is not without its problems. I hope you can figure it out. The problems are here. She didn't live with them, she lived with the white family. She wasn't there for 2 years or for 5 months. She couldn't possibly have learned the full culture, the full language. She asked them questions as opposed to asking them, as opposed to watching them. She watched them, observed them, immersed herself rather than asking questions. We all know the problem with asking questions, ask leading questions, etc., etc. Especially as being there for 5 months, it's unlikely she properly learned the language. So this first piece of research it can be quite highly criticised, quite controversial, because what people think her findings are just plain wrong. For example, other people have noticed that in Samoa, virginity is very highly valued for a bride, so much so that during the wedding, after they're married, the bride and groom have sex in front of everybody to prove that the woman is a virgin who doesn't bleed. Therefore, she can't possibly have had lots and lots of sexual partners when she was a teenager. So it's not perfect. However, because it made me famous, later research, which was able to do it in a much better way, 10 years after. Right, so in an exam with a Welsh boy, you get things like this. Here's Margaret Mead, here's some work on the Chambuli, read this, and there's some questions, a 1 marker, a 2 marker, very easy, 2 marker, a bit harder, and a 5 marker. Read that. To answer this question, I want you to use information from this passage. You have to know the answer and use this information as your EG. When you watch this video, I would like you to watch the video regarding this lesson. For more examples of anthropology, the Kepler, the Manos, the Chanduli, and all of these are in this video here. It's on the Year 11 Inequality playlist. It's video number 4, Gender Inequality, Culture versus Biology. Please watch this video now. We have more examples of anthropology skills.